Hello and welcome back to the weekly Oracle card reading with Kylie Savidge, Psychic Medium, and this is for the week from the 15th of June to the 21st of June 2019. Okay, and I've pulled 4 cards from Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors Oracle card deck, and I pulled 1 card from Colette Baron Reid's Goddess Power Oracle deck, and then I had another card stuck underneath. What I thought was lovely too is when I was doing my little ritual to pull the cards and to connect in with spirit, I do a little grounding ritual where I see a golden rope of light that does a figure 8 around my ankles and is attached to a very heavy ball, which then goes down to the earth and grounds me, and I say a little prayer to ground me to Mother Earth. And when I was doing it, I actually saw a snake wrap around my ankles. And then I pulled the card snake. So, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And when I was flipping through the guidebook to reorientate myself with how this deck is set out, I was really drawn to Stag, and then I saw the Wise One. And these are the cards that came out. And I was thinking a lot too about Mother Earth and grounding. Okay, so the 4 cards, I'm going to keep reading these cards the way I do and with the flow system as taught by Colette Baron Reid. So I'm going to look at Shield Maiden being our anchor card, and it says make plans and focus. Our second card is Snake. Our third card is Wise One, grow within your current situation. Oh sorry, Snake was shed old skin, and Stag. I love the Stag card because it's also in Colette Baron Reid's Wisdom of Avalon cards, which is the main deck that I read from. That's Trust and Thrive. And we have the beautiful Gaia. Just look at the artwork on these cards. They're just absolutely glorious. Gaia, so Mother Earth, and Freya, Radical Acceptance. Okay, remember that I pull out the 4 cards. This is our main reading, and I pull out cards, or usually 1 card from another deck, just to give us more assistance and support with anything that comes up in the reading, and just to be like our guide for this week. So remember that if you have these decks, or if you want to look them up online, the Goddess Power Oracle is available through Colette. You can do a reading each day for yourself for free from her website. If you want to look up these cards and what they mean and really work with these goddess energies throughout the week, you're probably going to find that's going to be really beneficial. Okay, so Shield Maiden. And I thought it's interesting too how we have 2 darker looking cards here and 2 lighter ones. So I'm really getting the yin-yang message, and that's probably going to come through as I keep reading, is that this week looks like it's going to be a real week of action. And the thing about us being focused and taking action is that that action needs to be very grounded and guided and directed from a higher source than us. And if we can manage to do that, then and build a great foundation for any action we take this week, then we're going to find things are going to go probably more smoothly, or if they're not going to go more smoothly, we're going to feel more centered, and we're going to be able to continue on that path no matter what, what storms want to try and rock our boat. We're going to be able to stay grounded in it. So perhaps this week may be a little bit tumultuous, a little bit emotionally rocky. You could have clashes with people, personality, sort of clashes could come up. So just sort of I never like to give dire warnings, but like I always think forewarned is forearmed. So just know that as you go about in your week, it's going to be really important to stay centered and grounded and look towards your own behavior, look towards your own goals and dreams and plans for this week. Stay very grounded and centered in the present moment, just living one day at a time. And I just feel like I really want to caution you this week to just stay in, not stay in your lane, but like stay in your energy and keep the focus on yourself and your own thoughts and feelings and behavior, and just make steady, slow progress this week. And that, I feel, is going to be like that's my best suggestion for how to navigate the energies this week. So Shield Maiden, and the other thing is we really are probably being called, and I feel like this is family, this is work, this is business, also about health. I will get into that, but I really feel like the message is there that if we need to work with others, perhaps we will be the unifying force, say in the workplace or in the family, or like with our own business plans and things. Perhaps we'll be a unifying grounding force this week for others. We'll be able to get our shield set in place so that other people can lock in. I think it was the Romans that built the shield wall, and the strength of the shield wall was not in one soldier's shield, it was in the interlocking of all those shields, and that's what created the strength and protection. And I love the message in that is that we are going to, we're going to suffer the blows in life. Like there's no real protection from that other than taking care of our own business and co-creating a life for ourselves which has lots of calm and peace, not to go out there drama mongering and to look at any addictions to drama we have. Yet the thing is, there are things inevitably that are going to happen in life. We're all going to see challenges. So if we can, build up that protection, that shield, and perhaps we're very much on our own and living a very individualized path. So know that spirit comes in. Your guides and your angels can be those other shields. So we build this beautiful wall of protection so that we can move forward, because that's what the shield wall does. I think it's in, I'm trying to think of the show now, but anyway, they demonstrate the shield wall beautifully. If I think of it, I'll put it in the notes for this, because the shield wall locks and loads, and then they step forward, so they cover more ground. Because the thing is too, and the message here is, if your foundations are strong, if you've set things in place, you have a structure around whatever your plan is, you're going to be able to take step by step more confidently. And the thing is, I really keep feeling like we need to have focus on the minute details this week, and focus on paring things right back, being very discerning, and go, this week's not the week for chasing big pipe dreams and magical thinking. This is the week to stay very, very grounded and make steady, accurate, conscious, forward progress. So I hope you can understand where I'm coming with that. Now, as we do that, as we put this plan in place, we need to be aware that we are perhaps going into new territory or old ground that we've gone over before, but in a new way. Because the snake is there saying this is a time of transformation and growth. Yet the same thing, slow and steady forward movement. Those baby steps, protected, well structured, built on a good foundation. And know that as we shed skin, as we transform, sometimes people around us, they tend to pigeonhole us, and they don't want us to change and grow. We may feel the resistance. We can feel the resistance from the old parts of ourselves, from our deep inner psyche saying, oh, hang on, last time you did something like that, this happened or that happened. And we just need to acknowledge, the shadow aspects of ourselves are just trying to protect ourselves from ourselves and are just trying to keep us small and safe because of that negative bias, fearing that the worst things will happen, catastrophizing and all that. Our shadow self never wants us to change and grow. And so we just need to acknowledge our shadow self and say, that's okay, we understand that, and take the shadow self popping up, as a sign that you really are changing and growing. You're going into new territory, or you're going into new territory at a deeper level, in a slightly different way. And take that as a good sign of transformation and growth. Those fear voices pop up. So just acknowledge them, accept and embrace them and love them, and say, you take a back seat in the car because I'm driving. Elizabeth Gilbert has the best quote about that. The Last Kingdom, that's the TV show. In the first season of The Last Kingdom, the Viking warriors perfectly demonstrate the shield wall. It's absolutely amazing. And I feel like it ties in with these scenes because we've got Freya, a Norse goddess, and shield maiden, you know, that's another reference to the Norse goddess and the Vikings. And also this is a sign of equality and empowerment for women especially. So if whatever your plan is this week, if it empowers you as a woman, know that Spirit's totally supporting you with that plan and going forward with that. Okay, wise one. So it says grow within your current situation. So the feeling I get with that is perhaps, you know, this is not the week to quit your job, to change anything too dramatically. Perhaps this is the week to pare things right down and say, right, maybe this situation for me at the moment is not ideal, yet that grow where you're planted saying comes to me. You know, what sort of movement can you make? What sort of expansion, transformation, growth can you experience where you're at in this current situation? So the thing is, you know, if feelings of frustration come up and you want everything to change like yesterday and you want to be doing this and that and your to-do list is 2 foot long, you know, this is not the week to really dive deep into that sort of energy. This is the week to bring everything back in a very focused and steady and slow way, and just say, okay, with things the way they're at, where can I move forward? You know, where can I take a baby step? And let's have some discipline and some patience this week. Let's think about our elders. Let's think about mastery. Let's think about, you know, the things that are worth doing really do take the time that they take. And let's have some self-compassion. As you know, I mean, I can relate. I'm a completely impatient person. You know, patience for me is so not a virtue. It's something I've had to work on my whole life. And now I'm starting to understand that, you know, slow and steady progress is definitely the way to go. I mean, sometimes, yeah, we need to fire up and we need to, you know, charge forward, take risks and be optimistic. Not the week to do it. This is not the week to do that. Okay, with the stag, the other thing is, yes, with stag and with Gaia, is this is also a week, like the yin yang of it, this is also a week where we have very fertile minds. And lots of ideas can be bubbling up, and sometimes that's because we have slowed down and because we have narrowed our focus, because we are being patient, because we are taking these slow, steady steps forward. That leaves, you know, space for ideas to breathe in and for ideas and our intuition to get through to us. So just, I would keep the notebook handy, however you record your ideas. This may not be the week to act on those, you know, ideas and to really dive deep into your fertile imagination. Yet this is definitely the week to receive those ideas and perhaps act on some of them later on. Okay, I'm just going back quickly into health. Now, the other message I really feel like is let's get grounded and focused on ourselves and our health. And the thing is, if you get the message to be grounded from Spirit, it's usually because your head is 300 miles ahead of you. We're not in the present moment. We're not empowering ourselves by being anchored and grounded and centered. We're off in the past or we're off in the future, and we need to bring things right back. And doing physical exercise actually helps you get grounded in your body. Tapping helps you get grounded in your body, meditation, being out in nature, that sort of thing. And perhaps you've been feeling a call to, go and dip your toe in the ocean, take a walk in the bush, bring nature into the house in any way that you can. Meditate with crystals, use candles around you, fill your house with, a beautiful vase of fresh flowers, something like that. Bring nature in, go out into nature. So try and incorporate something like that this week, and that's going to help you stay grounded and centered, and you're going to experience a lot of healing from that. Also, bring things right down. If you've been trying to do 300 things, with your health and your fitness, how about you just look at 4 things perhaps you could do this week? So keep it grounded. The foundation number is 4. 4 things. Could you be drinking more water? Could you take 1 walk a day for a very short time? Could you do some meditation this week? Could you do some journaling? Try and cover mind, body and spirit, and even go back to things that have worked for you in the past, but I feel like don't try and do so much of them. Like if you're a gym bunny and you went 7 days a week, that's fantastic. Perhaps you could just go 3 times a week just for a shorter class. Because sometimes we can get very all or nothing. We think, oh, if I can't go to the gym 7 days a week, I'm not going to bother to go at all. So we haven't gone for 3 months. So any sort of grounded exercise, yoga, tai chi, anything that really puts you in your body and helps you slow down, stretching, some deep stretching, anything that's kind of gentle and flowing and just helps you to experience that mind, body, spirit connection, that would be fantastic. It's really going to support you throughout this week. Freya, the other thing is, I just feel like whenever I see Freya come up, she's a warrior for me. She says to me, you can do it, Kylie. Whatever it is you're thinking about, you don't need a whole support team. You have yourself. You are a whole support team. You have spirit. You have your faith. Just know that spirit's always on your side and the power will come to you. The tricky thing for us humans is, one, we need to get the idea. So, usually getting the idea is not the hardest part. 2 is we need to take some form of action on that idea. Then we have an experience, and from an experience we've got lots of feedback. We see what worked, what didn't, and then we can have a plan for the future. Some of us get stuck in the planning phase, and that means we've never actually taken any direct action on the idea. So, have a think about what cycles and what processes work for you, and see if there's a way you can kind of shrink them down into very small, actionable plans. Because that's going to be the way to go forward. And know that you've got support for that. You don't need to wait until your confidence is like, absolutely huge. You don't need to wait for the people to show up. You don't need to wait to have, the perfect weight. You don't need to wait to have the perfect look. You don't need to wait for anything. You just need to rely on yourself and know that you have the power to see these things through. And Spirit will meet you along the way. Spirit are like the greatest cheerleaders as soon as you take some action. I always say, what is it? God will supply the power, but you got to build the engine. So, think of, you can rephrase that in any way, but just know that you, in and of yourself, you are enough and you can do this. You've got this. I'd love to hear how your week goes. The full moon in Sagittarius. Which has an arrow in the sign as well. So great time to look at doing your new moon and full moon wishes. I can't recommend this book enough. And Yasmin Boland, she also has a show on Hay House Radio, Weekly Astrology with Yasmin. Same deal, can't recommend that enough either. And everything you need to know about working with the moon is in this book. It's very easy and simple to follow. I got myself a lovely journal to record it, and I do my ceremonies in the new moon and the full moon. And so I think to this full moon, so I like that it's Monday because you can start your week afresh. You can do the full moon forgiveness ceremony, and you can do the gratitude ceremony, and you can look at anything you'd like to release and let go of so that you're free to move into your week. So many blessings. I'd love to hear your likes, see your likes on the video and hear your comments. Thank you.